evening, and thanks for joining us here tonight on Speed Racing Network. I'm Greg Olenek, and well, I'm by myself here tonight. Nick Howda had a little bit of a family emergency to take care of, so we're wishing him all of the best. But you know what? We're going to make it happen here tonight for 120 laps here at Homestead Miami Speedway for the last race here to make your shot at going to that championship. The last chance 180 right ahead of us. We've had a great second round here so far. Last week, that race going to Brad Herman, getting his first Cup Series win of the season at a crucial time. Aaron Gerwitz coming home in second. Joseph Causey gets a nice rebound finish in third. Johan Seminario coming home in fourth, with Adrian Schumacher rounding out the top five. So let's see how that changed up the standings after race number 2. And well, Brad Herman went in just below the cut line last week, and now he's at the top of the standings altogether with a 12-point cushion ahead of that cut line. And yes, you're not seeing your screen wrong. That cut line is pushed way down there right now. 7 drivers here, all within reach of maybe making it into that final round because, well, there's a 3-way tie there for 5th place. Reese Schaefer, Adrian Schumacher, as well as Joseph Causey. Like I mentioned, all 3 of those drivers having good runs last week, with Reese coming home in 7th. That gave them the push they needed to get above that cut line. But look at those guys in red. I mean, Scott Healy, Ryan Johnson, Seth Berger, well within striking distance. Ryan Johnson 2 points back of that cut line. Scott Healy, who came into last week in first after his win there, he is now in 9th place, but 3 points back. And Seth Berger, he's going to need Berger Nation really cheering him on here tonight, sitting there 10th place out of 10 drivers here trying to make it into that final round. He is 7 points back. But that is not the only championship that we are paying attention to this week. The team championship had its first race last week, kicking off the best of 3 series between Tank Racing and Gear Up Motorsports, and look at that. It was a close one, 6 points being the difference, but Gear Up going to go up 1-0 here in the series, and 1 win away from clinching their 2nd straight team championship. So they made that logo gold after winning the championship last year, looking like they are right and possibly maybe keeping it gold here this season. I know Tank Racing will be showing up, to say the least. So that is a look here at our championship for first place here. There you see Causey coming home in 3rd. That was the best finisher for Tank last week, and Brad Herman really helping his team out there with the first place finish and all 45 of those points. So that's how it shakes out for that set or series. Let's check out the 3rd place matchup as well. And well, why not be another close one too? Phoenix Virtual Racing getting the edge over JW Racing. So 99-92 going to be the final score there after Iowa last week. And with 3 drivers, Phoenix Virtual Racing gets it done with the 2nd. And a great call by Aaron Gerwitz last week to go 2 tires there on the very end of that race at Iowa. That might have been the difference there. Highest finisher for JW last week was a great run by Drew Ballesteros. So that is a look at how it's shaken up so far. PBR going to take the series, the 1-0 series lead into this week at Homestead. So let's go ahead, check out our sponsors here real quickly. Looks like qualifying all wrapped up out there on the field. We'll get to that in just a moment, but got to give a shout out to Buttkicker as always for coming on board here this season. Cannot thank them enough. I know I say that every week and it probably gets redundant, but man, just if you all knew what this company has done for Speed Racing Network, you would be saying the same thing week in and week out. So definitely go ahead, check out the Buttkicker at thebuttkicker.com. You won't regret it. And also got to check out Silverback Tax Solutions over there at silverbacktax.com, 662-996-4357. And it goes without saying that it is tax season, so go ahead, check out, see what services that they can provide to you, and I don't think you will regret it one bit. And last but not least, gotta thank TJ's Team Foundation over at morethanAcape.org. It's a foundation, a wonderful foundation that helps out with families dealing with pediatric cancer. So if you can donate anything, whether it's your time, money or just word of mouth, everything goes such a long way. So let's go ahead, waste no more time, and getting out there on the track. Looks like the guys are just about all gridded up out there. Well, the man that needs the big run, Seth Berger, he is going to be at the top of the board as they come off pit road. Ryan Johnson just to his outside, so two drivers sitting outside the cut line going to be starting on the front row here tonight. Reese Schaefer and Thomas Toomey there in row number 2. Scott Healy, there's another name in red starting in the top 5. Johan Seminario will be 6th. Randy Nichols and Joseph Causey will be row number 4. Justin Rideout and Michael Politis in row 5. Brad Herman, Adrian Schumacher in row 6. Go through the rest of the field with 23 drivers in the field here tonight. Latham and Gerwitz, that's row number 7. Matt Dula and Brandon Domain in row 8. Lane Hostler and Rob Norfleet in row number 9. Row 10 going to be Emerson Ardon and Scott Kalal. Row 11 going to be Blair Holloman and Brian McAvoy, with Drew Ballesteros rounding out the back of the field. So that's how race number 19 of 20 is going to kick off here tonight. And we got some names looking to make some ground. There you see the orange on the ticker, or the scoring tower on the side, indicating that they are outside the cut line. And like I said, you're not seeing it wrong. There is more than 5 names in green as we see the Silverback Tax Solutions green flag waving here in Miami. So one lap in the books, and an important lap for Seth Berger in the 77 machine as he gets that all-important lap led and tries to close that gap that was 7 points to the cut line. So that makes it 6 in a hurry. Right now, he's got no pressure from his teammate behind him, but Ryan Johnson looking to waste no time as he is also trying to gain all the bonus points that he can get in that 43 machine. Going to be a hard pass there on the inside line, coming back to the stripe quickly. 2 laps completed at the last chance. 180 here in tonight. That the fuel window going to be about 40 to 45 laps. So looking like it is going to be a 2-stop race if this thing does stay green, which we have been seeing here lately in the Cup Series with the lower turnout in the car count. So that's never a bad thing, if you're asking me, especially with me being all alone up here in the booth tonight. So definitely appreciate each and every one of you stopping on by. Please fill up the chat. I am going to be having fun engaging with everybody here tonight. Like I said, Nick Alda dealing with a bit of a family emergency here tonight, so I cannot fault him one bit for taking that in precedence over this broadcast here tonight. Definitely thinking about him and the family right now. JW, his team right there going to work, is Nichols making a look to the inside of his teammate Ryan Johnson. Now going to be under attack from Scott Healy, one of those drivers in orange. Like I said, those are your guys outside the cut line coming into this week, and it is looking pretty orange there at the top, almost as orange as this sunset here tonight in Miami. Ooh. Riding on board there, you can see how close it was to making contact. Nichols was to making contact with Causey. Causey really pinching him down there. That's going to kill the momentum big time for the 42 and get the 82 of Adrian Schumacher right underneath Nichols now. Nichols going to the back, it looks like, as Toomey is going to be right there as well. Schumacher completes the pass, but now Toomey taking a look to the inside, trying to put some side draft on that rear spoiler. Nichols, just like that, going to be back in 8th here before too long, with Johan Seminario coming up here next. And here goes Ryan Johnson a little bit further up. This battle for 2nd. He's been working on Reese Schaefer since the drop of the green flag. So Ryan looking to get up here and possibly battle. This is where he started in P number 2. He wants to see what kind of speed he's got here in race trim, see if he's got anything for this Burgart's number 77 that has out to a 1.5 10-second lead here just about 2 car lengths, but Johnson closing in quickly, making that bottom line work as you see Nichols way up top back there. So the battle for the lead still picking up. Look at the beautiful sunset we got here at Homestead, Miami Speedway here tonight. Was expecting it to possibly be a little bit darker here, but you know, there was somebody who kind of messed up the session here tonight. Maybe 2 people that kind of messed it up. It happened twice. That's why we had a little bit of a delayed start. So appreciate you guys sticking by here and waiting for us to get this thing rolling here tonight. Our typical start time at 9 o'clock. A little bit later here this evening. Kicking it off at 9:20, but quickly putting 8 laps in the book here as they come off at turn number 4. Ryan Johnson with a good run. He's going to take a peek to the outside. Seth Berger going to think better of it, shut the door. And that 43 going to take a look to the inside now. It'll be a tough pass to complete here. Can't imagine Seth Berger going to give him a lot of room to work with. But at the same time, Scott Healy making his way up now. He's still in 4th using that high line with Causey to the inside. Tank Racing looking really strong here, trying to rebound after that loss to gear up last week. Currently running 1st, 3rd, and 4th as it runs here. So we're going to see them get real close off of 4. Johnson not going to have the momentum. It looks like Seth Berger is going to be able to clear them as it's just about single file throughout the whole field here. Best battle up front. Reese Schaefer going to take it back to the outside of Ryan Johnson now, trying to take that 2nd position back here. See if he can maybe put the pressure on his teammate. We'll be curious to see how hard all these Tank Racing drivers are running, considering that the 17 and the 88 are on the cut line. And then you got Seth Berger below the cut line, 7 points back. Not all of them are going to make it. I can say that. I mean, if it stays the way it is, yes, sure. But if one of these guys kinds of falls back a little bit, that 2-point cushion is going to go away in a hurry. So they have to be careful. We've heard Joseph Causey, how he kind of shoots himself in the foot on pit road from time to time. And he missed the final 5 altogether last season. Staring down that possibility again here after a really, really solid regular season. So we'll see if Causey can get in and possibly contend for a championship next week out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But right now, Seth Berger is the class of the field here. Very unique track here at Homestead Miami Speedway. A 1.5-mile oval, but not like our typical 1.5-mile ovals that we're typically used to here. A track that can really wear on the tires, and we saw what that did to these guys last week at Iowa. They were having all sorts of trouble handling these cars on the long run, and it's definitely shaping up to be a long run type of race. Randy Nichols in the wall there, using the Larson line and a little bit too much of it, but still hanging in there in 6th. But just look at this top 5 right here. Pretty much throw a blanket over them and pick a name out of the hat. So riding on board Seth Berger here, you can just hear the throttle input, how long you're out of the gas here as the sun coming through the windshield there. Not too distracting as a driver here on iRacing, but I imagine in real life that has got to be a huge distraction. Look at that mirror though, very full. If you're in that 77 car, you like to see those cars a little bit smaller, but they are right there. Ryan Johnson knocking on the door. Reese Schaefer not too long ago was right there as well. He's trying to fend off both of these lanes as Ryan Johnson takes a big look to the inside here. That's also going to bring Causey down on the inside as well. So Johnson going to have a little bit of a push as Reese Schaefer giving the push to Seth Berger. Drag race down into turn number 1. Seth Berger still going to be leading the way, but they're trying to figure out a way around him. Might be 3 wide coming off of 2. Reese thinks better of it. Lets his teammate have it for the time being. But Nichols, who seemed to be struggling early on in the race, he's now up in the mix in 4th place, giving a big shove to the 17 of Reese Schaefer as Seth Berger goes down to the bottom lane. So no help really for Ryan Johnson here. He's going to fall back to 4th possibly with the big run by Nichols, and Causey up there on the high line holding on to 3rd for the time being, but Reese going to get a big run. Take a look to the inside of his teammate here, contend for the lead and possibly get a point lead, or excuse me, a bonus point for a lap lead in that 17 machine. But look at how high that 42 is. Some names, or some drivers I should say, are going to be seeing that and seeing the runs that he is absolutely getting off of those turns, and possibly going to go up there with them. You see Causey starting to explore a little bit, and this is the onboard of Nichols right now. You see the run he's able to gets into the gas a lot quicker than the 77 of Seth Berger, and right now he's taking a look at the lead and possibly going to clear him, and he does. The 42 out in front just like that. So Nichols, unfortunately, was eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, but has had a killer rookie season to his SRN Buttkicker Cup Series campaign here in Season 4. So no surprise to see the 42 out in front, and that is going to be exactly what JW wants to see here, as they are that team going up against Phoenix Virtual Racing for that 3rd place matchup. Right now, Randy Nichols and Ryan Johnson 1st and 3rd. Next closest, the 3rd running driver in that stable, is going to be Justin Rideout back there. And P13 for Phoenix Virtual Racing, well, they're not having nearly as good a night. They come on a little bit later. But Aaron Gerwitt's going to be 12th, Brandon Domain 14th, and Scott Kalal back in 22nd. So right now, JW really putting the business to him as far as that 3rd place matchup goes. But catching up on our 1st place matchup, well, we could see how well Tank Racing's doing. They got Seth Berger there in 2nd, Joseph Causey 4th, Reese Schaefer, he's currently battling for 6th with Thomas Toomey. So they are having a stellar night as far as Tank Racing goes. Gear Up, well, they're a little bit behind. Brad Herman back there in 9th place, Timothy Latham in 11th, and Rob Norfleet currently in 18th. So they are going to have to make up some ground if they want to clinch that team championship here tonight. So while I was going through that order, you could see a new leader out in front, Ryan Johnson, finally getting it done, getting by his teammate after working so long on Seth Berger. Curious to see if that 77 is falling off a little bit here after leading those first 18 or so laps, maybe just cooling off the tires, knowing that this thing is shaping up to be a long run race. It's got a mirror full of Joseph Causey, who's taking a look to the inside, starting to see these cars get a little bit loose. Scott Healy almost making contact with his yellow striped teammate there, Thomas Toomey, so got to be careful there, as Scott Healy is one of those drivers behind the cut line, 3 points back. You cannot afford a mistake tonight if you're in that 64 car. I believe, if I heard correctly, Nichols downshifting. Yeah, he just shifted back up to 5th right there. So these guys utilizing that extra gear here to shift back down to 4th, going into the turns, kind of helping the braking and the entry, it looks like, to get those cars down at the bottom. So curious to know if everyone else has picked up on that, because right now these two JW drivers have, as I say that, Seth Berger comes back to life, going to the outside of Randy Nichols. So the 77 definitely has not lost too much speed, as he is still contending up here at the front of this pack. Definitely would have seen him falling back quickly if those tires were shot. I think he is just taking it easy here, as they're about halfway through this first fuel run. So the top 5 as they run, Ryan Johnson in 1st. Here's the battle for 2nd. Can pretty much throw a blanket over him, but for the time being, we'll claim Seth Berger in 2nd, Randy Nichols in 3rd, Joseph Causey there in 4th, and Scott Healy hanging in back there in the top 5. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, yeah, you expect to see 5 names in green and 5 names in orange with the way the playoff format is, but we have a 3-way tie currently on that cut line, and it is shaping up to be a doozy of an end here to the SRN Buttkicker Series 2nd round of these playoffs. But Ryan Johnson He's feeling good about his chances so far. That car looking good as he is set out to a 2/10 lead over Seth Berger. This top three is starting to pull away as Healy gets fourth.
Man, and Healy, Greg, he's doing exactly what he needs to do to get himself back up into that playoff hunt. The problem is that everyone else is doing exactly what they're supposed to do, too. So I'm not sure if fourth place is going to do it for him.
You're just going to come in here and not even say, you scared the crap out of me right there, by the way. I just want you to know that. I'm in the zone, and here comes Sean. Sean just getting in on it. So why not? You're just not admitting, I guess, tonight? Just going to let it go?
No, I'm admitting at the same time. But so far, knock on wood, it's been a nice, clean race out there. But, man, love seeing those cars out there doing it.
You felt bad. I know you felt bad because you had nothing to do. You're like, man, I could go bother Greg right now, and here you are.
Well, let's hope that it stays that way, Greg. But yeah, those top guys, Scott Healy especially, I think he is the most under the gun here, just coming into this last race, 3 points outside that cut line. And so fourth place, I mean, it might get him there. It just depends on everybody else in front of him. But with 3 people tied on that cut line, he's going to need somebody to mess up. And right now, those names are not messing up that much.
Yeah, I mean, you got Causey. He's right there in 5th, Schaefer 6th, Seminario 7th, with Herman and Schumacher 9th and 10th. So there's a lot of time for things to shake up, and it looks like we're going to have green flag pit stops here in about 15 or so laps, so that'll definitely shake things up too. We usually have somebody that doesn't have a pit entry that they want to go their way, or they speed a little bit here in these Cup cars, and we'll have probably something shake up before too long. Still got 93 laps left on the board, so long night.
And man, let's talk about Ryan Johnson. Up in there in the lead right now, but keep in mind that this is a guy that last season was in the Truck Series. And so he skipped 2 levels, brought it into the Cup Series, and nobody thought he was going to be able to compete the way he has. And here he is on the cusp of making it into the next round, actually the championship race of the playoffs here.
You're going to get a lot of crap if you jinx him, because right now he needs, like you said, some help. I mean, yeah, a win is definitely going to be great, but with everybody right behind him, he is going to need some distance put between him and the rest of the field. But coming in here to tonight with 2 laps just being 2 points being the difference, you're exactly right. I mean, he missed the final 5 in trucks last year and possibly going to have a chance to race for a championship at the highest level here at Speed Racing Network. That is a tall claim there for Ryan Johnson. I don't even think he thought that would be a case here this year.
Well, keep in mind that last season when he was in that Truck Series, he didn't make it into the championship race because he made a bad decision. He actually had the points lead. He had everything going for him, and he decided he wanted to win the race rather than make it into the championship. He got into a wreck, and that ousted him out of the playoffs completely. He's not going to do that this season, but he's also not in the same position either to do that because he is behind that cut line right now. He has to do something, and a win would definitely bring it home for him.
Yeah, I'm always thinking it's better to be in this scenario, granted within a few points of making that cut line, because it really puts these drivers sitting on that cut line on the pressure. And that's what we're seeing right now, too, with Scott Healy. I mean, another driver that came into the first race, you know, even playing field, wins that race. Ooh, gets really loose right there. But didn't have the race he wanted at Iowa, and pretty much counted himself out this week, but still well within distance, 3 points back of that cut line and sitting in 4th. I'm just telling you, it gives you a better mindset coming into these races when you're behind that cut line. You almost write yourself off and don't put so much pressure on you, and that's why we're seeing so much orange at the top. I mean, the top 3 playoff drivers are all below the cut line.
Yeah, but I mean, one that to really keep an eye on, go back there to about 11th place right now, Timothy Latham. So he is inside the cut by 1 single point. He's sitting back here in 11th place, which isn't going to get him into the next round. But he is probably the one out there that I'm least concerned about making it into the next round because this is his strategy. He stays in this little area and just puts himself in a position to win at the end because of strategy.
And knowing Timothy as well as we do, we know this is his type of track too. I mean, one of the more patient drivers out there. He's not worried about these first 110 laps. He just wants to be there at the end when we get down to the nitty-gritty. And slowly but surely, he's making his way up after starting 13th here tonight. Granted, he's only 11th, but, I mean, look, in front of him, there's Causey, who we saw racing in the top 5 not too long ago. Causey's starting to fall off a good bit.
Yeah, he has definitely shredded those tires. I don't think this is a strategy call for him, because I think all of these cars can definitely make it to at least lap 40. There's no way they're making it to lap 60. So you're not going to cut out an entire pit stop out of this. So that is definitely shredded tires.
Yeah, and look at Reese Schaefer as well, another one of those guys, the tank guy, starting to fall back a little bit. Reese was battling for the lead not too long ago. He is back in 7th with a mirror full of Brad Herman, last week's winner, just behind him. My fellow driver in the Triple Crown Club, so always cheering on Brad. He's gotten his cup win and currently in that club here with me as well. So the 85 is feeling good with that 12-point cushion coming in to this week. So now putting the pressure on the 17 here.
Oh, and if nobody caught that low-key pat on the back that Greg just gave himself for being in that Triple Crown Club, a very exclusive club to be in. So I can't really fault him for doing that, but still, just a little bit of self-serving there, isn't it?
There's not many more opportunities for me to do so here this season. The season is wrapping up here, Sean. Only going to have 5 more races. Can you believe it? 5 more races after this Cup race wraps up. The Last Chance 180 is going to send these boys to Vegas, battling for a championship. But man, we got 2 more good ones here this week with the trucks at Gateway, and I'm drawing a blank. The Xfinity drivers, I hate myself. They're at Auto Club, of course, my favorite track, Sean.
Yeah, Gateway is definitely going to be a really interesting race, as I just saw Causey get really loose there and allow Aaron Gerwitz to pass him for 10th place. But Gateway is going to be really interesting. We saw the Xfinity cars there earlier this season, and it was a complete cluster. You've got a short track with those high-power cars and that sort of thing. The Truck Series, I'm anxious. I'm nervous. Hopefully it's a very good race, but all things indicate that a short track with that many trucks on the track, I just don't know.
Oh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine, especially because I'm not going to be out there, because I would probably be the cause of the caution. I got to work tomorrow, Sean, so it's all up to you. You and Brandon will have the call for the race out at Gateway, and then me and Brandon will take it back over for this Silverback Tax Series race all week long, the Last Chance theme here in week 19. So these guys below the cut line definitely making the best and the most of it, but we missed the pass for the lead. Seth Berger back out in front after falling back to 3rd. I doubted him, maybe thought he was shredding his stuff up too, but you might have noticed he was getting a little tight. Took it easy here, and that 77's got some speed again here on the long run, getting real close to that pit window.
Yeah, but Ryan Johnson's not backing down here, and Ryan Johnson's got that low line still working. So I think that Ryan Johnson probably has a little bit more tire left than Seth does. But if Ryan is smart here, he'll just kind of hang back, just get a few more laps out of these tires, maybe be one of the later cars to pit, so that way you get a little bit more of a run towards the end of next pit cycle.
Yep, taking a look to the inside right now. Why not do it here while the getting's good here on these old tires? This is going to be crucial too. These two, both really the only drivers to lead laps so far, and it's going to come down to maybe 1 point separating these drivers on the cut line. So going for that most laps led bonus point is going to be crucial here tonight, while also having to finish the race is going to be crucial too. So you got to be careful, pick your battles wisely. And right now they are not concerned about it. Ryan Johnson and Seth Berger side by side.
Man, it feels like old times, me and you doing a broadcast together. We haven't broadcast together in so long.
I know. I feel like you don't like me anymore, Sean. You raised me and trained me well to take over the broadcast, and then I swear you just dipped out.
I fill in for you every Wednesday night, but I do not do it justice. So
okay.
We do have pit cycles starting up. We got Timothy Latham and Joseph Causey, as well as Scott Kalal and Matt Dula, all coming down into the pits, and definitely Joseph Causey needed that.
Well, you go ahead, take care of what you got to do, Mr. Admin, here tonight. I will cover it for the time being. And you've got some responsibilities here in case we got any black flags that need to be taken care of. So Sean's going to go ahead and take care of that. Thanks for joining me here. And looks like we got another driver coming down, Randy Nichols. He's going to come down from that lead pack, bringing in Thomas Toomey just behind him. So 2 more drivers coming in. Ooh, Lane Hostler back there, it looked like, missing the pit entry. That is going to cost him here. But 2 drivers coming down this time by. Nothing changing out in front. Seth Berger still leading, with Ryan Johnson still putting the pressure on here. And have to imagine as well, Scott Healy sitting there in third. He's just waiting, wanting these guys to go down pit road because that's going to give him the opportunity to go out and lead a lap. So curious to know what kind of chess match being played here right now. See if these guys know that's what's happening because they don't want him to have that point. Who does what here? Right now, nobody budging. These two are still side by side. If that stays the way it is, Scott Healy, he'll get up here and mix it up too. So no more takers that last time. Looks like Lane Hostler gets in pit road. Seth Berger not going to have a choice here. Looking like Ryan Johnson will, and he's going to bring it down in that 43. Really getting everything he can out of it on the entry there. Great entry for the 43 out of JW Racing. No other takers with him this time by, so that is going to leave Seth Berger out in front, followed by Scott Healy, Johan Seminario, Brad Herman, Reese Schaefer. That's your top five. Adrian Schumacher, Gerwitz, Domain, Holloman, and Ballesteros rounding out your top 10 with the last three, Politis, Rideout, and Ardon still leaving 13 drivers yet to come down pit road. Heard that the window was going to be 40 to 45 laps. That's what it's looking like here. Scott Healy brings it down. Not going to get that lap led, but hey, this might get him out in front of that 77, which could be even more important. It's going to bring down Johan Seminario as well, and Reese Schaefer. So 3 playoff drivers going to come down here on lap 45. So that has got to likely force the hand of the 77 of Seth Berger here as he comes around turns 3 and 4. Have to imagine he will be bringing that car down pit road. And sorry if we're had to pause for a second because I was trying to listen to the car on Seth Berger and look at the dash. Thought he might have been running out of fuel here, but not the case. That car definitely still within power. Gets on pit lane real cleanly. Brings on Adrian Schumacher as well. So 2 more playoff drivers getting it done here. That's going to cycle the lead out to Brad Herman. The leader coming into this week. He is out in front in that 85 machine. He's going to get that bonus point led here to lead lap number 46 to turn on lap 47 quickly. Ticking these laps off here almost to the halfway mark. Brad Herman leading the way. Nichols just behind him. Already pitted. You're going to see the difference here when it comes to fresh tires. There's Ryan Johnson, 43 machine, likely going to cycle out to the lead if he can get past his teammate Nichols, who pitted 2 laps before him. So Johnson is going to have a little bit fresher tires here. But right now, Herman not worried about coming down pit lane just yet. You got Aaron Gerwitz back here. He's coming off pit road. So it's getting busy here. Drew Ballesteros bringing it down for the JW camp. So there he is. Brad Herman still leading the way. Scott Healy is going to unlap himself the old-fashioned way. So he will cycle out behind Ryan Johnson. He is just about 0.7 of a second back of that 43, so about right where he was. But Brad Herman looking like he's made his bed. He's going to stay out as long as he can. Not much to worry about here in the 85 camp, and I kind of like the strategy to potentially go with the fresher tires here at the end. Seems like they fall off rather quickly here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And there's Joseph Causey going on by the 85. Looks like Herman going to go ahead and claim that inside line. Possibly going to see him bring it down this time. So a nice patient approach there for the 85. That's going to bring down Blair Holloman as well out of second place. Michael Politis, he's going to bring it down as well too. Justin Rideout just behind him. So 4 cars on pit lane. That's going to cycle the lead out to Emerson Ardon. He's going to be the only one yet to come down pit road, and not a bad play considering your team is in the team championship here, going for that first place prize. Get every bonus point you can, whether you're going to be the top 3 scoring driver here tonight or not. It could matter here in the end. So the 57 likely going to bring it down this time as you see the flames come out of the pipes, letting all that raw fuel out of the headers there. And here comes Emerson Ardon to make his first green flag pit stop of this evening. So that will cycle the lead out to these two gentlemen here. Ryan Johnson, he's going by Randy Nichols. Can't even let his teammate lead for a lap there after that round of pit stops. But Johnson looking real fast on those 2-lap fresher tires here at the Last Chance 180. So with pit stops all cycled out, we're going to step aside and run a quick commercial break.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. And maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacktax.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
Well, back out here on the track for the Last Chance 180. Got Sean Griffith joining me once again here after taking care of his adminning responsibilities. Man, we are just getting it done here tonight, Sean. You're doing the admin and I'm doing the broadcast. Why not join forces? How it all started here.
I just felt so alone in that admin booth. Just needed some company. But I don't know if you saw during that pit cycle, Brandon Domain had an incident where he got down onto pit road a little bit late, spun the car, and so he had to take another lap around and ended up having to get about a minute of repairs done. So that is why he is in last place now.
Yeah, so he is going to likely not be too happy with that. But, hey, plenty of time here. Things can definitely change. And you also gave me an update on the fastest driver on pit lane. You said it was the 42 of Randy Nichols.
Yeah, I mean, so pit times themselves in iRacing are fairly standard across the board just to make it fair for everybody. But pit lane time is what I look at, and that's from the start of pit lane to getting off of pit lane. And he was half a second faster than anybody on the track. And half a second in a green flag race like this is a lot.
Yeah, well, he's got a mirror full of the 64, Scott Healy, who is in third currently. But, yeah, it just goes a long way to just practice that pit road and pit stop here under green flag conditions because entry's everything. And I've also noticed here lately, too, and it took me, a couple years to notice it. But if you don't nail your stop as far as your entry into your pit box, that adds a little bit of time, too, onto when the guys get to your tires and all that stuff. So it can definitely mess things up if you don't nail it just right. But Nichols getting it done there. But right now, he can't keep that 42 off the wall. Man, really tight, too, with Healy off of 2.
Yeah, Healy is not afraid to throw it in there, and that's really, he knows what he has to do. He knows he has to come in at least top 2 to have any prayer of making it into the next round, and so he's not going to hold back anything here, especially on these newer tires, and he is going to make that cut-up move and get up in front of Randy Nichols.
Yeah, and Healy is a champion here in the SRN Buttkicker Cup Series, so he knows how to...
Oh, a bump! Toomey got into the back of Nichols. Nichols gets into the back of Toomey, and that will bring out a caution.
Big hit there for Toomey, so we'll drop the point scoreboard just like that. And our first caution of the night is out right at the halfway mark. Toomey with a big hit, Nichols involved as well. Let's see if I can queue up. Oh man, this is pressure now. I got Sean Griffith in here, the man who taught me everything. See if we can queue up an admin box rec replay. I'm really not worried about it, in case you were wondering, Sean. So Toomey gets into the back there, just really tight racing through 1 and 2. Sean going to go ahead down and take care of some adminning responsibilities here, because an EOL will have to be handed out. So he'll be joining us again here in a moment, but let's see if we can ride on board here with Nichols. See exactly what happened. Actually, Toomey's the driver behind him, so let's go with an in-car camera here for Toomey. Yeah, just kind of stuffed the nose in there. I got to imagine that one going to go up against Thomas Toomey as far as that EOL penalty goes. See if we can get another look at it from the far chase camera. That's a tough one. That's might be a racing incident. I mean, there was definitely a lane there. But in my opinion, and this is my opinion alone, I feel like if you're going to put that car there on the inside, you got to put that thing right on the line. It's hard to say who's at fault right now. So I know one thing is for sure, though, that is going to heat things up when it comes to pit road and strategies, because we got a mixed bag. Ryan Johnson bringing down, well, everybody but 3 drivers. So that is going to leave Lane Hostler out in front of this thing now. He last pitted on lap 42, so he's got about 17 or so laps on those tires. Justin Rideout staying out there as well in the 40 machine, and Emerson Ardon, the last man to pit, he is going to leave it out there as well. So that is going to shake things up here in the last chance 180, and that is going to shake things up on the broadcast too. We're going to step aside, run another quick commercial break.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacktacks.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today, and maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
So back out here at the last chance, 180, the pace car, lights are off. Still waiting on Sean to join back up here in the booth as he's still got some admin responsibilities to handle. But new leader out front, that's going to be Lane Hostler as we approach the Geico restart zone and see that Silverback Tax Solutions green flag waving once again here in Miami, Florida. Man, that is one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to miss that. As far as the broadcasting goes here this season, just listening to the cars rip on by all the cameras we have set around here at Homestead Miami Speedway, and Hostler out to a great jump here out of those cars that stayed out here, but a lot of them falling victim to the rest of the field. Look at this gaggle back here. Reese Schaefer now back up in third, bringing his teammate Seth Berger just behind him. But then 3 wide, just a right out there on the outside. He's one of those guys that stayed out. He's got Scott Healy in the middle. That has got to be a nervous situation as far as Scott Healy goes because he cannot afford a mistake. Seminario back there going way down low in the 12 machine. Seminario has fallen back to 9th place here. He can't afford to spend up too much of his cushion either. Pretty much everybody comes into this week and they are not safe. We'll bring it up once again here. Seminario sits there in second, but a 9-point cushion can easily be evaporated here with how well the rest of this field is running here tonight. So got to keep an eye on that. Ballesteros back there getting a little loose there, but right now, this is the best battle on the track here between Healy, Latham, Seminario, Causey, as well as Rideout, who's fallen back with those older tires. So out front, no surprise, Ryan Johnson able to clear and get around Lane Hostler, who is on, we'll say, much older tires, but you wouldn't know it with how well he's able to kind of hang up here. The rest of the field that stayed out, falling way back quickly. So Hostler going to fall back to third now after falling victim to Reese Schaefer in the 17 machine. Next in line going to be Seth Berger to possibly take a look at getting around him. But Ryan Johnson out to a 0.3 of a second lead. That pretty much equates to 3 car lengths separating him and that 47. Further on back, Rideout still falling back here on those older tires. He's going to be in the back before too long with how many drivers did come down. Sean joining us back here in the booth, had to take care of some stuff.
Oh, yeah, I had to take care of that caution there, and just a little bit of fire between Thomas Toomey and Randy Nichols there, and part of that's just racing. It happens. So yeah, I got that all cleared up. One thing that I thought about though while I was away is I don't know if you've mentioned this or not. Do you remember who won Homestead in the Truck Series last season?
You're gonna probably say Ryan Johnson, and I did not remember that.
Yeah, it was Ryan Johnson. And remember, that was the last race of the season. That was a championship race. And remember, he missed that championship race because of the incident he got in the race before that booted him out of the playoffs. And he came back with a vengeance and won that race, and by a lot. And so he is trying to do the same thing here.
I mean, are we surprised? I mean, he absolutely ran
No.
the Truck Series last year. I have no doubt that if he was in it this year, I would not have a win next to my name because he just scoops all of them up. Absolutely dominant in the Truck Series, but these cars are not easy to drive whatsoever, so it's kind of humbled him a little bit. And right now, he has a mirror full of Reese Schaefer behind him.
Yeah, that's why you don't have more wins. Ryan Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. I'm sticking to it, Sean. Well,
Gotta go with something.
There you see the mirror getting full. And hey, a black car at night gives you big time Intimidator vibes. I feel like ever since Reese went to that black car, he has just flipped on a switch. He got the win, which was nullified out of Charlotte, and then actually got his first win. I can't remember the track exactly. It might have been a Texas or something like that. But technically 2 wins to his name. One of them scraped after he had a black cleared that didn't go his way at the end of the day, but looking to possibly park that lane or that car in victory lane right on the bumper if you're watching that mirror.
Yeah, and Reese Schaefer has been one of the most consistent drivers of the past 2 seasons here in the Cup Series. If you look at his finishes over those past 2 series, he is either the best or one of maybe the top 3 in the past 2 seasons in average finish. And it's really interesting that he only has that one. Yeah, technically 2 wins to his name because honestly, I mean, you would think he'd have a lot more with as many good finishes as he's had.
Yeah, and you kind of just root for the guy after so long. I believe he won the All-Star race last year too, if I remember correctly. But he's gotten the official. Ooh, wow, both of them making contact there on the back straightaway. He's got the win off his back here. Now back out in front at the last chance 180.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson coming over the radio there, and I think he said I'm sorry when that happened. So I think he was putting that on himself. But yeah, he's going to let Reese go there for the time being and kind of regather his thoughts and get back in there. Take a look behind him, Seth Berger and Scott Healy. They're not close to each other, but sitting there in 3rd and 4th position. And Scott, again, I think he's doing math right now, trying to figure out if he is going to be in or out with where he's looking. I think his best thing is that Lane Hosler is back in 15th position right now, and Adrian Schumacher's back in 11th. That's his best things going for him, but the worst things going for him is Ryan Johnson up there in 2nd.
Yeah, you're my numbers guy, so I'm glad to have you in the booth here tonight because it is going to be important to decide who is going to make it. And yeah, I mean, as a driver, of course, you're trying to crunch the numbers, but also at the end of the day, you can't really do much about the rest of these guys and how well they're doing, as Ryan Johnson now taking a look to the outside of Reese Schaefer to reclaim that lead. But you can't really worry too much about what these other guys are doing because that can really impact your race at the end of the day. But Scott Healy and, like you said, Seth Berger both closing as these two continue to battle it out for the lead.
Yeah, you got to focus on yourself for at least the first 99% of this race. Now, that last couple laps that you got in there, then you can start looking at, okay, where am I at right now? Do I need to make up 1 or 2 positions here? That sort of thing. But right now, mid stages of the race is not the time for you to be making bold moves if you don't have to.
No, absolutely not. But right now, the bold driver out there is the driver of the 43 out in front. Let's go a little bit further on back here. Causey. He's battling a familiar name right there, Timothy Latham. Like we said, slowly but surely. Oh, he gets into him. What a save by Causey in another case where I don't think that was intentional whatsoever there. Just misjudged it by Latham, and a heck of a save by Joseph Causey. So Sean Griffith quickly back down to the admin office as this thing starts to heat up a little bit. He'll be joining us once again here shortly, but had to take care of a little bit of business for the time being. Timothy Latham up into the 5th position, and slowly but surely behind them, the man that finished 2nd last week, Aaron Gerwitz. Another solid run here tonight, up 6 spots after starting in position number 14. He is in 8th, right on the bumper of Johan Seminario, that driver that comes into this week 2nd in the playoff standings. Norfleet going to take a look inside of him as well. Vital, important driver, that 56, when it comes to the team championship, because he has an implication on the way this sorts out for their team championship standings here this week. Right now, it's hard to beat Tank Racing. 2nd, 3rd, and 6th, respectively. And then Gear Up 5th, 8th, and 10th. So it is getting much closer in regards to that team championship battle.
Sorry, I had to bounce out on you there for just a second. There's some chatter going on the radio. Just a little bit of blinking going on.
Yeah.
You know.
Driver's going to talk. What do you know? Something new there. But, yeah, I was just mentioning how this team championship battle is just getting tighter and tighter here after Gear Up with a slow start to this race. They're catching up now. Timothy Latham there in 5th. Rob Norfleet here in 8th place with his teammate Brian McAvoy taking a look to the inside of Aaron Gerwitz. That's for 9th. So it's heating up with, Tank Racing 2nd, 3rd, and 6th. Hard to get by them, but it's becoming a game here tonight.
It's getting really, really hot and heavy out there. And now that we're on lap 82, now is the time that you're going to see some people maybe start swinging for the fence here because they can make it the rest of the way with one more pit stop here. So do you short pit it? Do you come in there and try something out? I know they just pitted 20 laps ago, but 20 lap difference on tires could be massive.
I really wonder if Johan realizes how much Norfleet is leaning on him right now. That has got to make Seminario very uncomfortable here when it comes to the championship. These two are banging off of each other.
Over each other.
Yeah. Got to pick your battles here if you're in that 12 car. And there's the car you were blinking there. Adrian Schumacher, he's in this mix as well. So I don't anticipate it being too long before you head back down to the admin office again to possibly address that here because you just can't have that out here. And it's affecting a lot of these guys in this mid-pack. But right now, Seminario sorts it out, settles in 9th after that tough battle with Norfleet.
Yeah, I mean, this whole group back here, everyone with Johan and Aaron Gerwitz and all the way back to Brad Herman, really making me and I think a lot of other drivers nervous right now. They would love to see this thing go green for no other reason than the fact that we're going to get some good racing out of it at the end. But they're not making that easy.
Yep, Justin Rideout, one of those guys that we saw stay out there. He's going to bring it down for his final stop potentially here of the night if it stays green. So the 40 on pit road, the only driver to come down pit road this time. And I have to imagine for a little bit of time, I'm curious to know how that works out. Everybody's off strategy here. They can pretty much make it to around lap 100, 105, I would say. If it stays green, that 40 might be onto something. And if there's anyone that knows strategy in all of Speed Racing Network, it is that man in the 40, Justin Rideout.
Oh, yeah, he is just a master strategist. And evidenced by JW Racing just being involved all over the place in all 3 series. They're towards the top in all 3. I think they're in the championship of 2 of them and in the 3rd and 4th place matchup in 1 of them. So they are doing something right at JW.
Yeah, they are in the 3rd place matchup here with Phoenix Virtual Racing in the Cup Series. And right now that is looking pretty good for them here tonight. Phoenix coming alive a little bit with Aaron Gerwitz having a good run up through the field. Scott Kalal sitting there in 14th, but Brandon Domain, like you said, had that spin on pit road. That kind of set him back in 20th, but he is the first driver 1 lap down with another caution. He could get back out there on the lead lap. Justin Rideout, the next one, a lap down. Likely going to run that 20 down in no time and get his lap back, but don't take your eyes off this man right now. Seth Berger has some good late run speed here. We saw it in that first green flag run, and right now running down his teammate, Reese Schaefer.
And I think Emerson Ardon was listening to the broadcast because he is really the first one to take a shot at this thing.
Yep, Emerson coming down pit road as well. He stayed out too. He was one of the 3 drivers that he was actually the last one to pit during that green flag cycle. And why not be the first one here this time after coming down after Justin Rideout? So the second one, but still, I think we're onto something here as far as this strategy goes. These guys a little bit further on back. Here comes Blair Holloman now making that stop here. So it's a little bit of a bit unorthodox pit window, but some big undercut strategies taking place right now at the Last Chance 180.
Yeah, if you're a Lane Hosler or something like that that really needs to defend his position, this is the time to come in. I don't think there's any more time for you to wait. You're in 17th position already. You're on the oldest tires on the track. No reason not to come in right now, because even if there is a yellow flag that comes out, everybody else is pitting too. And so you're not going to gain any positions at all on pit road. If there is a caution, might as well come in now, take a swing for the fence, because that's all you got right now.
Yeah. I absolutely don't hate it. And I mean, the drivers that we are seeing come down are also not playoff drivers. So I can speak on that on their behalf and say it gives you a little bit of something to race for when you got everybody paying attention to these playoff guys. You want to get out there and win. And boy, do we have a big swing here. Seth Berger bringing it down in the 77.
Burger Nation, get behind your boy, because he is taking the swing for the fence. He is the first of the leaders to dive down in there. Lane Hosler coming down pit road now as well, so I think he might be listening to the broadcast. Here comes Ryan Johnson this time around, just called it out. Johansson Seminario just called it out. Scott Healy just called it out. They're all coming.
Well, yeah, you can't stay. Oh, Johnson, big slide there. And Healy, both of them getting on there great, getting everything they can, and it is busy. Like you said, Johnson, Healy, Latham, Northleet, Seminario, and Herman all on pit road here. So, Sean, if you got to step aside and take care of some business here, I fully understand, because it is getting busy on pit road.
So far, so good here. I think everybody got on there pretty cleanly. You still got Reese Schaefer, Joseph Causey, and Adrian Schumacher from the playoff drivers still staying out there. Now Reese Schaefer is going to come in. Joseph Causey is going to lead a lap here shortly. And then the question is, I mean, Adrian Schumacher, so 3 teammates, what are they going to do?
I don't know, man, and it's got to be getting nerve-wracking.
Oh, and Healy. Go back and find out what happened there. I want to say that I'm not sure what happened there.
Not a fun situation for Healy. No caution expected to come out, being that he's in the grass, but
yeah, it was a self-spin coming off a pit road. That's what happened with Healy there. So a very rare mistake for Healy, and the worst time of the season to do it.
Yeah, take a look at it right here. It just looks like he kind of spun the tires. Let's see if we can ride on board with him as he's coming off. And nope, I can't get to it quick enough. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. He just kind of got on the gas and spun the tires and all but came up on the track. Have to imagine he might get an unsafe pit exit too there. So a tough break for Scott Healy. He's going to need a lot of help to rebound after that. It was running up towards the front and now possibly staring at possibly falling out of these playoffs.
Yeah, see, he's gonna definitely need a caution now to have any shot at this thing. But he did not get a black flag, so he is still technically on the lead lap, though he will be about a half a lap down once these guys pit.
Well, there's Adrian Schumacher in the 82. That is your leader currently. 3 drivers yet to come down pit road that are on the lead lap. Schumacher, Ballesteros, and Michael Politis. Brandon Domain has yet to come down, but is scored a lap down in 8th. So he is trying to get a lucky break and possibly get back on the lead lap. But I don't think it's going to matter, considering he's still a lap down behind these guys. Still out there, but it's still a chance as we see that 25 to go come out from under the scoreboard. And we see that hashtag go faster. It's crunch time here. Who are we going to have in the final?
Oh, man, I'm too close to call right now. Adrian Schumacher coming down into pit road as we speak. Drew Ballesteros will take over the lead.
So Schumacher, like you said, in Ballesteros, he's getting an important lap led for that team championship matchup for the 3rd place position there. So Ballesteros coming out with the best run last week at Iowa for his JW Racing guys, and currently having another great run here. Another driver we were surprised to see struggle here after having a great run for 2 seasons in the Silverback Series. Comes up to the Buttkicker Series and just hasn't had, we can just call it, he's had a bit of growing pains, we'll say, but coming on strong here late.
Well, and that's why the Ryan Johnson thing is so rare. When you see somebody jump a series, especially from the Xfinity into the Cup, because the cars drive so differently, I mean, you have to expect to have those growing pains, but that's why the whole Ryan Johnson thing is so amazing that he jumped 2 levels and he's just like a fish in water, man. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, knowing these cars compared to the trucks, wow, Norfolk gets really tight there. You feel like Superman in the trucks because, I mean, you feel like you can go out and win every race. I'm not going to lie. Those trucks, they can be pretty easy to drive from time to time. But you go up here and you still perform in the Cup Series. That is something to be proud of, whether it works out for Ryan Johnson or not. But so far tonight, it has been working out for the driver in the 43 machine. He is going to be leading these guys by over a second right now as it stands. He came in a lap before Reese Schaefer, currently has 1.2 seconds over the 17 machine with 22 laps to go. Can that be enough? Can Ryan Johnson defend when Reese Schaefer inevitably gets there? Because Reese is coming.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of how many cars get in between them here, maybe from this pit cycle. We still got a couple of cars to come in, and I'm thinking that they might come out right near these leaders, and so it's going to be a little bit interesting to see what happens there. But right now, Ryan Johnson on rails. Reese Schaefer, I think he's going to be able to get to him, but then what is he going to do with him?
Hopefully get lucky and maybe pass him on the outside. There it goes. Picture taking a little while. Had Justin Ride out there, but there's Reese Schaefer. You can see the times that he is putting down right now. Not very far off from his best lap time of the race here. And shrinking that gap ever so slightly, now down to 1 second between Johnson and Schaefer. He's coming here.
Michael Politis now leading the way, and just a quick story about him. You know, we make mistakes here at Speed Racing Network. It happens. Jason Tripp set up the session today. He set it up incorrectly, set it up for 200 laps, so I had to jump in and set up a session. I set it up incorrectly. I set it for unlimited fast repairs, and Michael Politis was the first one to send me a message that says, "Hey, is that right? Are we supposed to have unlimited fast repairs?" No, we're not. We don't do fast repairs here at Speed Racing Network. So yeah, we all make mistakes, and Politis is really humorous with how he keeps us in line.
Yeah, don't drag me into this. We make mistakes. It's you guys make mistakes. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, wondering when we're going to race here tonight, while we leave Tripp and Sean in control of making the rooms here. That's all I'm going to say. But you had a perfect opportunity to drag Tripp, and you dragged yourself into it too.
I mean, yeah, I have no problem telling people that I'm imperfect, and that's okay. That's, imperfection is what makes us better.
Okay, whatever you have to tell yourself here at night. But 18 to go. Michael Politis still out there leading the way. He is putting it on these sets of tires. He can't have much fuel left. He's got 42 laps already on this run. The window between 40 and 45 for most drivers here. So he's trying to get that lucky caution flag here, which we've seen him get before. It almost worked out for him last week at Iowa. Did the same thing in the 6 machine, and right now he's got a few more laps to play with before he brings it down.
Yeah, and this would be the point where he would love to see that caution, because everyone else is deep enough into the run that they would have to get tires as well. So it'd just be increased track position. So he has no reason at all right now to come in unless he is completely out of fuel. 19-second lead on Ryan Johnson. This can only work out well for Politis. He's not in the playoffs. He's working on the Tier 2. He's got nothing to lose here, everything to gain by staying out.
Yeah, and I'm curious to know what is the strategy as far as Ryan Johnson goes here. Coming back to the stripe this time, we'll see 15 laps to go for the last chance 180, but Reese Schaefer's there. I mean, he's 0.4 of a second back. I wonder if Ryan Johnson's kind of letting him get up here, maybe encouraging that 17 to overdrive and saving the tires on the 43, because there is 1 lap separating them with the favor going to Reese Schaefer on the better tires here. This is going to be a heck of a race to finish this thing off.
I mean, if things stay the same as they are right now, Ryan Johnson will definitely be in the championship race. That has got to wear on his mind, especially with what happened last season in the Truck Series. And so he might let Reese Schaefer go here, because even if Ryan Johnson comes in third, he's still going to make it into the championship race, because Adrian Schumacher's back in 12th, Lane Hauser's back in 15th, Scott Healy's all the way back in 21st. So it looks like that would be enough. Will he allow it to happen, or will he make the same mistake as last season?
Yeah, and you mentioned Scott Healy. He's still a lap down, considering Michael Politis has yet to come down pit road. So if a caution were to come out, Healy wouldn't even get that lap back, considering Ballesteros is the first car 1 lap down. So a lot to unfold, and I know that is going to weigh heavy if this just stays the way it is with how well Healy was running after the issues he had last week at Iowa. And I mean, we saw a lot of drivers having issues, spinning out on their own, causing their own cautions, and that's inevitably what caught the 64 is he had just racked up too many EOLs and was disqualified from that race. I mean, it's been a rule here for many seasons in Speed Racing Network, and unfortunately, he got the bad end of the stick at the wrong time of the season as far as that goes.
Yeah, and the first championship that he won, it was the complete opposite of that, where he hit the ground running the way he needed to in the playoffs and just got a really, really good stretch of races. And we thought, though, he had that coming this year as well, just the way the first 3 or 4 races went for him, but then just a string of bad luck has hit him. And one thing I'm looking at, and let's switch gears here to Michael Politis and Ryan Johnson. Johnson's catching Michael Politis, and so I don't know if first could Politis make it all the way. I mean, lap 61, that's when we had that caution. Can he make it 60 laps essentially on this fuel cycle? I don't know, but he's going to go for it. I mean, 11 laps to go, but then Ryan Johnson catching up by about a second a lap. It looks like I'm eyeballing it.
I'm kind of curious. It doesn't seem like he's in save mode, and I mean, I don't think he can make it, but I've been proven wrong many a time, Sean, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. So we will have to see, but he's going to come back to the stripe now to take 10 laps to go. As you see the sun setting there on the towers here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Beautiful backdrop to an end of the Last Chance 180. 10 laps to go.
Yeah, Miami's not a bad place to finish off this round of the playoffs. Really, it's a very good place to have the championship race like we did last season. But this year, we wanted to try to get a little bit more lucky. So we're going to head to Vegas for our championship races this time around.
Yep, definitely. And that leads us into the next race. Like I said, the Championship 210. Catch it next week, April 4th, same time, same place as always. Sorry if that froze up on you there for a second. My Streamlabs took a little bit of a snooze. But yeah, it's going to be a good way to cap off the season at a tricky mile and a half. I mean, people typically think the mile and a halves are what they label as cookie cutter tracks, but that one is probably one of the toughest out of the whole circuit.
Well, I mean, as long as we don't set this thing up to be 210 laps, kind of like what we did this race, then I think we're going to be okay. But yeah, Vegas always a fun track to go to. You're right; it is considered a cookie cutter track, but it's just a little bit different than everything else.
Yep. So right now, a little bit different than what we were expecting, as well as this guy out in front, Michael Politis.
He's pitting this time around.
Okay, I was like, this is starting to get pretty real here. If he can actually stay out there, was just hoping to get that lucky break, but unfortunately, not going to have it. But not going to hurt his team either too much. We got Tank Racing. They're going to cycle out to second, third, and fourth. Norfleet, Latham, and Herman will be the highest 3 scored gear-up drivers. They will come out 5th, 6th, and 9th. So right now, the edge going to Tank Racing, but a very, very tight edge that is as far as the team battle goes. So Michael Politis brings it down onto pit lane, and that cycles the lead out to these two gentlemen right here. Ryan Johnson with a 3.5 10-second lead over Reese Schaefer with 7 laps to go.
Still too close to call on the championship side of things, trying to figure out who's going to make it in, who's not going to be in. If things hold, then Healy will definitely be out. Seth Berger, I think he's done. Man, he was 7 points outside the cut, and now he's up in 3rd place with a lap left.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think it's
who
enough.
knows, man? It's going to be so close, but we potentially have something here where we might have 4, maybe even 5 drivers. Oh, and now we've got a wreck out there. Scott Healy.
Yeah, he's parked there on the inside of the track. Not going to bring the caution out. It does. It brings
Yes,
the caution.
It does. Oh, man.
And he had no intentions of doing that. He was just trying to get the car going. Oh, iRacing. So Sean Griffith going to hang back down in the admin office while we take a look at the admin box rec replay here for the second time tonight. I'm going to have to rewind it here because this looks like a long spin by the 64 of Scott Healy. So coming off a 2, already losing it there. Oh, and Politis right out in front of him almost gets involved. Just couldn't save it there for the 64 machine. So let's take another look at it here on the gyro cam inside the cockpit. You can just see him fighting this car. So that's a look at the spin here from Scott Healy. We'll head back out there live in a mixed bag here again of pit stops. So who does what right now? Ryan Johnson is not flinching. He is staying out there. He's going to be our leader here. Reese Schaefer also staying out. Seth Berger staying out. Joseph Causey, Adrian Schumacher, and Justin Rideout, as well as Drew Ballesteros and Emerson Ardon, all staying out. First car with fresh tires. It's going to be this man, the 85 of Brad Herman. So potentially has a chance to go back-to-back wins. He'll be starting in the 5th row on this restart. Is that enough time for him to get on up through the field? It's got Norfleet, Gerwitz, McAvoy, Holloman, Latham, Seminario. Seminario is now back in 15th after that pit stop. Lane Hostler, Scott Kalal, Matt Dula, all on the same strategy of coming down pit road. Pretty much half and half as far as the leaders go. So we will step aside, run one more commercial break, and come right back with the conclusion of the Last Chance 180.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacktacks.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
So the pace car lights are off, and we are going to have our first attempt at a green-white checker finish here for the last chance 180. Second caution wrapping up as we see the Silverback Tax Solutions green flag waving once again here in Miami. Ryan Johnson gets out to a good lead, putting the two teammates of Seth Berger and Reese Schaefer side by side for second. He hopes they stay that way. I will be shocked if we do not see another caution here as they come off of turn 2. You can see how crazy it is back there in the mid-pack, but Ryan Johnson gets out to a good jump. One more set of turns before seeing that white flag waving. If we get to that white flag, we will see the end of this race. Seeing Scott Healy crashing again back there, but not going to matter. White flag waving, 3 wide for second. Oh, and Joseph Causey leaning on his teammate here, Reese Schaefer. That's going to get him out of sorts a little bit. And here comes Brad Herman on those fresh tires. Oh, Ballesteros gets loose. He wrecks the car back there. Herman trying to make his way through the field, but meanwhile, Ryan Johnson is smooth sailing there. And he's coming out of turn 4 to see a checkered flag waving. Ryan Johnson is going to win the last chance 180 here at Miami. So there is your winner here tonight, Ryan Johnson, a.k.a. the Tiny Horse, getting it done here. That is his 3rd win now on the season for the driver of the 43 machine, and why not do it before the biggest race of his SRN career, potentially maybe iRacing career for all I know. I don't know, but this man's been in a lot of big races, and he's won a lot of big races. Won again here tonight as the 43 doing his traditional backwards Polish victory lap. I don't even know what to call this thing, but it's certainly entertaining to watch him go in reverse here all the way around this track. So while he does that, continues to celebrate, we will head on up to the blimp here to give you guys the running, or the final order, I should say, of the Last Chance 180 here this evening. Ryan Johnson gets it done. He wins it from the front row here, qualifies second, finishes in first. Not sure why my images aren't loading. They're just a bunch of blue boxes. I got to get that fixed before next week. I know that's for sure. But there you see he gets a good win by 3/4 of a second over Adrian Schumacher, who just came out of nowhere to possibly salvage his run at a championship too. I know Sean is going to be working diligently at getting us those numbers. One thing's for sure, I can tell you for a fact, is that Brad Herman with that 3rd place podium finish here tonight, he is going to be racing for a championship next week in Las Vegas. Very curious to see how it shapes out for Seth Berger coming home in 4th place. Reese Schaefer came in with the 2-point cushion, one of those 3 drivers tied for that 5th place position. I have to imagine that he will be racing as well next week. Joseph Causey comes home 6th. Aaron Gerwitz in 7th. Justin Rideout, a great run here tonight, in 8th. Brian McAvoy comes home 9th. With Timothy Latham rounding out the top 10. Quiet night for him and the rest of the Gear Up guys. They are going to take the loss here this week. Can just see that here on the results. So Tank Racing going to tie it up 1-1 as far as the team standings go, unless we have post-race penalties, which I don't see happening. Robert Norfleet comes home in 11th. Emerson Ardon in 12th. Brandon Domain, a great rebound after what was looking like a terrible night for the driver of the 20, comes home 13th. Johan Seminario in 14th. He is going to be biting his nails here. Probably wanted a little bit of a run here in the 12 machine. Micah Politis in 15th, Lane Hostler 16th, Drew Ballesteros in 17th, Matt Dula comes home 18th. Running out the rest of the field, Blair Holloman 19th, Scott Kalal in 20th. Scott Healy, the lowest running playoff driver, his playoffs are done as the playoff lucky dog. He comes home 21st. Randy Nichols comes home 22nd. And Thomas Toomey comes home in 23rd. So let's go ahead and track down last week's winner in third place here tonight and bring Brad Herman on up into the booth. Brad, you didn't get the win here this week after you got it last week at Iowa, but a solid run, a solid strategy, too, to come down and get 4 tires there at the end. Kind of helped you get a little bit more position and get on the podium here tonight. But if there is any certainty that I have out of the playoffs here and who's going to be racing for a championship, I know for a fact that you will be. What's that mean to you, man?
It feels really good, but obviously with racing in 2 series, I'm already looking forward to tomorrow because we're at a little bit of a deficit and kind of nervous about that, but we should have it. But really happy to finish strong here. I actually took 2 tires on that last stop. Did a lot of practice, which is uncharacteristic to me, and knew that 2 tires was going to be fast here. Was able to just not be so tight when they were cold, and I was able to make all those spots, and that was awesome 3-way drag race to the finish for third.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch, and it was just great to see all the strategies played out all night long. And ultimately, like you said, yours got you third here tonight. Now, did coming into this week with a 12-point cushion also play into that decision, give you a little bit more wiggle room to possibly get you down pit road and maybe go for a swing for the fences here to possibly get a win here again tonight? Ultimately ended up with third, but did that cushion help and play into that factor?
Well, I think it actually hurt me because I was going to go long. It kind of felt like it was going to go green, so I tried to stretch the first tank out, and I was so far behind. I was like 15th or 14th, and luckily the caution came out, but I was set myself far behind, so I had to make up those spots on the back end of it.
Well, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do out there next week. I've already mentioned it here tonight. We're the only 2 members of the Triple Crown Club, so we're part of an exclusive club. I'm not. Sean said I was patting myself on the back. He was up here earlier saying I was patting myself on the back. But man, we've raced together for a long time, and I'm certainly excited to see you out there next week going for a championship, man. So looking forward to that. But before we get on to Vegas, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
Man, just got to thank Gear Up and go to gearup.com and all what they do, and got to thank you guys in the booth and all my teammates for helping me practice and whatnot. And you also got to add to that, not only are we in the club for that, we're also birthday buddies, so
Yep. It's weird.
got to add to it.
It's weird. I didn't even think about that.
I know, right?
All right, man. Well, best of luck, and best of luck out there tomorrow at Gateway. Won't be joining you guys out there, but I know it's going to be an exciting race, and go get it, man. Go battle for 2 championships here this season.
I want to try my ass off. Thanks, man.
All right, see ya. So that was Brad Herman, my birthday buddy, coming home in third. That's just crazy to even think about. I didn't even realize that when we were talking a few weeks ago. But yeah, let's move on to second now and see if we can track down Adrian Schumacher. Here he is. Bring him on up into the SRN broadcast booth. Adrian, if there's one name I didn't think I was going to be talking to here tonight, it's probably yours. You stuck around there at the mid pack, about 5th through 10th the whole night, and then at the end, boom, here you are, 3 wide for second, and you get second here and try to get every point you can. I think you might be racing for that championship next week here in the Cup Series. Tell me what was going through your mind on that last green-white checker, because there was a lot happening around you.
Yeah, just it was pretty fun. I knew we were all tied, and I just knew I had to get in front of them, and yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, you certainly did. But man, tell me what it's been like coming up to the Cup Series here. You're a champion in the Silverback Series a few seasons back, and now you're going to be battling for a championship here at the highest rank here in Speed Racing Network. Yet to figure out what drivers you're going to be going up against exactly. But how does that feel going into a Vegas next week? Now you won your championship in Atlanta Motor Speedway, another 1.5 mile oval. What can we expect from the 82 next week?
I'm gonna say what I said pre-race before that a silverback championship. Uh, Lay back, stay out of trouble, and hopefully everything goes my way.
Yeah, I mean, you only had to finish fifth, I believe. And the only reason I remember that is because I was right behind you coming home in second in that championship. But you got it done, and that's all it takes. So you got to be in it to win it. And if my math is mathing out right, I think you're going to be there just waiting to get those final numbers. So before we move on to Vegas, Adrian, who you got to thank here tonight?
I gotta thank Lakeside Marine in Chabanel, Illinois, for making this championship appearance possible. And I'd like to thank my parents and grandma for watching, supporting me through the season. I'd like to thank Tank for throwing up them practice sessions and making me a better driver.
Well, we got to thank Grandma and the family as well for watching every week, man. We appreciate their support, and we appreciate you just being one of the best drivers we got here in Speed Racing Network. So definitely get to it, get those practice sessions up for Las Vegas, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you got for these guys next week. So congrats on a great run here tonight, and cap it off. One more week to go here.
Yep, thanks. And thank.
Ooh, oh man, I thought he was done. My bad. Adrian, well, he had another thanks there, and I was a jerk and just cut him off completely. Don't worry, we could talk to him again next week in Las Vegas. I'm so sorry, Adrian. But now moving on to Ryan Johnson here. Got to bring him on up into the booth. Ryan Johnson, aka Tiny Horse, joining me up in the SRN broadcast booth. Third win of the season. You came in below the cut line, but Ryan, if my math is math, and like I like to say, I think you will be racing for a championship here, which is just crazy to me. After your dominating season in trucks last year, you kind of shot yourself in the foot there in the last race leading up to the championship and missed out to get to race for the championship. But you're peaking at the exact right time here this season. Get your third win heading into Vegas. What's the mindset right now in that 43 camp? Are you feeling good about your chances here, Ryan?
What is up, my guy? Dude, oh my God, I'm so happy. I can't put it into words after what happened last week and last season. Yeah, I definitely, it wasn't good last season. All I needed to do was be a little more patient. Tonight I couldn't afford that. We tried to get up front, stay up front as best we could. And man, that was a lot of fun battling Seth, Reese, Randy there for a while. Holy cow, man. I like what you said. Hopefully I'm in. I think I should be. I mean, I know there's a lot of additions to points that need to be done, but just God, I think I had like 300 laps of practice maybe coming into this race because I'm like, I'm gonna show these guys what I can do. And I think I'm gonna have to do the same thing for next week.
Yeah, I just don't see a scenario in which you don't make it. I mean, you get the 5 bonus points for winning a race. That gets you pretty much clear of that cut line. So I'm fairly, 99.999% certain that you will be. Now, obviously, we got to wait to see that final results sheet that Sean, I know, is just typing away at on his Excel spreadsheet. But yeah, I mean, tell me the difference coming into this season's cutoff race where you are sitting behind the cut line as opposed to being in front of the cut line thinking, it's smooth sailing. Did that help push you? Did it help take a little bit of pressure off? You come into this week, kind of write yourself off maybe a little bit, not add that pressure on. Was that a factor? And you just kind of having a great race for 120 laps. I mean, you were a killer the whole time.
Um, no, I think if anything, it just pushes me to drive harder and be better. I'm I definitely didn't count myself off with only being 2 points out. If it was, oh man, I don't even know a number, but I would have had the same mindset as I did last season in the trucks. Like if I'm already out, well, I'm gonna go dominate as best I can and just do what I can. Drive hard, race good, make the right moves, make the right calls, and yeah, it ended up right tonight. I mean, if car felt really good, I love Homestead. It's only becoming one of my favorite tracks in almost any car, and yeah, I think it just pushes me to drive harder and be smarter and just show my talent.
Well, you certainly showed it here tonight. We know the talent because we saw you dominate last year. And I mean, it's hard to say, you're not dominating here this season because 3 wins here in the Cup Series, that is nothing to write home about. I mean, having a fantastic season. Why not make it 4 next week out in Las Vegas? So I got to ask you, how you feeling as far as that track goes? A little bit of a trickier 1.5 mile oval that we're used to. What's it looking like as far as the 43 car out there?
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's been a while since I've raced on it, but I know when I have raced on it before, it was kind of similar to the style that we were using tonight. It was a more aggressive track. You could be more aggressive, and the tires didn't seem to wear out as bad. But I mean, we'll definitely get that practice in. Us at JW. Yeah, just need a lot of practice. I'm feeling pretty good about Vegas overall. I know it's a 1.5 miles. It could be anybody's race, but depending on how the car races and the setup is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I think it'll be a good race. I'm just hoping I don't get the bad luck that we had, last week.
Well, all that matters is that you are going to be in it to win it here this season. So that's the first step. So we will see you out there. But before we get out to Vegas, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, definitely. All the admins at Speed Racing Network, Sean, Tripp, all those guys. You opened the booth for broadcasting. Tiny Horse Racing, DCD for my paint, JW Racing, Rogue Energy, all my teammates and owner, Justin, Matt, Randy, Drew, everybody out there tuning in and watching, all the drivers for a really, really good race tonight. Mom, girlfriend. I hope I got everybody.
Can't forget the girlfriend.
Yeah, definitely not.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you stopping on by here, and a heck of a job out there here tonight. We will see you out there competing for that championship next week for the championship 210. So get to work and have a good night, man.
Appreciate it, buddy. You too.
All right. So that was our winner, Ryan Johnson, coming home in first place. And you could just tell how elated he was after it just kind of didn't work out last season in the truck championship. But he will be battling for the SRN Buttkicker Series title. Don't have the final numbers for you here tonight, but definitely go ahead and check out the Instagram page for Speed Racing Network, and those final standings will be posted there here before too long. So for myself, for Sean Griffiths stopping on by, I got to thank him helping me out here tonight. We both kind of one-man banded this whole show. Admin office for Sean. I'm in the booth, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it tonight. So definitely come on back next week for the championship 210 here on April 4th, same time, same place, right here on Speed Racing Network. So for myself, everybody behind the scenes, for all the drivers, we wish you guys a good night and go faster.